Hello, everybody. My name is Benny, and I'm the Fool's Apprentice. So today I want to discuss Lisa Papez's Tarot on Training Wheels. I just finished lesson 3 today, and it went really well. I was really pleasantly surprised with the quality and the course overall. I thought it was really, really good. I learned a lot. But before I dive into the lesson and what I learned and my thoughts about it, I ended up getting up early in the morning. I couldn't fall asleep. So instead of just laying there and wasting time, I decided to get up and do the lesson. I was done, everything went well. Then I went to record. I did my whole review, my experience with the class, downloaded it onto my computer, and there was no audio. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my computer? And I tried everything. So finally, I have an Apple computer. So I called Apple. And while I'm sitting there talking with the guy explaining what's going on, I look to the camera and I just have a thought, did I plug it in all the way? So I walked over to the camera and it was plugged in, but it didn't click in. And so I lost all that footage. So another lesson learned, make sure that your microphone is connected. So now this class, oh my gosh, I really, really enjoyed it. I had all my tools like she suggested, and I think it was in lesson 2. If you go back to my other video, which I'll link below, where I talk about how I'm going to take a tarot class, I talk about lesson 1 and 2. So this is lesson 3, where we actually get to the cards, and it's the major arcana 0 to 10. So it's 11 cards, the full to, I don't have them memorized, to, yep, the Wheel of Fortune. And so I had my decks out. So a couple of things. I was going to do what is it called? The Fantastic Menagerie. It has all these animals and insects. But as I was doing the lesson, I came to realize that it wasn't a really good fit. And surprisingly, I have a lot of animal decks, but they're mostly Oracle. I have a few animal tarot decks. So the one that I felt would actually work well was Guardians of the Night. This is a really cute deck. I vacillated quite a bit on purchasing this deck. And then Hay House had a huge sale and I got it for like, I think, $10 plus shipping. And I was like, I'll never get it any cheaper than. So I got it and I'm really glad I did. But I'll be using this deck. And also I'm using the Pagan Other Worlds deck. You know, beautiful cards. Oh, you know what? Let me show you the box. Where's the box? Oh, right here. This is the box right here. It's a beautiful box. You have to excuse me. I have a little itch in my throat. So I'll be sipping water to help alleviate that itch. I also ended up getting the deck that she suggested using, which is the Druid Craft Tarot, and it's not my aesthetic. It really isn't. However, I'm trying to follow her suggestions as closely as possible because she developed the curriculum for a reason, and so I really want to like stay true to the actual lesson. And so got my marker that she suggested getting. It's a Sharpie fine point. I also have my pen and paper for notes. And what I decided to do as I was going through it, I decided to just really listen, write the keyword down, and then I'm going to go back and take notes on the other things that she discussed, And, she did a really great job with this course. So what I have a couple of notes of things I liked. So I like the fact that she gave you a keyword. She explained the reasoning as to why that keyword worked well. And she really tried to pick words that were really expansive, where you could find other words that correlated with that card and the keyword, which I thought was great. In addition to that, she gave us the Webster's Dictionary definition, which was quite enlightening with some of the cards. I thought it was really smart to do that. And it really helped me understand her perspective on the word and why she associated with each card. Now, one of the things that I was wanting to do was I was going to use all her keywords for every card because, like I said, she developed a curriculum. There's a purpose for each word, and that's what I was going to do. However, I kind of got stuck on a couple of cards and the keyword she chose for those cards. So I'm grateful that she emphasized a couple of times that if this keyword does not work for you, pick your own keyword, which I thought was great. It gave me permission to, swap out some keywords with the cards that I was really struggling with. So I will tell you what there was only two. We did 11 cards and only two I changed. And I actually had to go to my resources because the keyword she chose wasn't setting and I didn't really have one of mine. I decided that I was going to use my books and my guides to see what came up, see if there was something that kind of resonated with me. So I ended up using the Neo Rider Tarot guidebook. I utilized this book, Tarot Your Personal Guide. I utilized, what other book? Oh, okay. I also used these books. Kitchen Table Tarot. Of course, everybody's go-to. 78 Degrees. And then I think, this is a really good book. If you're just starting out, I got this at Borders, Guided Tarot. And then I got this at the $5 and below, 5 and below. This is really great, and it has keywords. So I ended up finding some words that actually really resonated, that I felt I could connect with and remember when those cards get pulled. So what I'm going to do now is, where's my, what did I do with my, let's see, here we go. So another great thing that she did, which was unexpected, it was unexpected, is she provided homework at the end, which I didn't expect. So in this particular assignment or lesson, she assigned us to really explore the card and the keyword that we chose for that card. Like, how does that card represent that keyword? How do they work together? So for example, she asked, how does the Fool represent the word risk? And she wants you to journal. She wants you to write it out, type it out, contemplate, really try to develop an understanding of how those work together, which, I think is great because it's just going to force you to really memorize that card with that word because you're contemplating it. In addition, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my books and just read about each card, just so I have a bigger understanding of each card. And hopefully some of those things will kind of stick and I'll learn as we go. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to flip the camera around so you could see what I ended up doing with each card and how I worked with her lesson throughout her first, how I worked with the cards and the lesson. I hope I'm going to be able to edit that. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. So the lesson, she started the lesson by just explaining what she was going to do, and she went right into it. One of the things that I really liked was that she was really efficient with her time in providing the information. The lesson went by quickly. It was very clear. It was concise. I got all the information I needed for every card. And she didn't go on and on about everything that, she probably could have to provide an in-depth understanding of the words and the cards. She gave us what we needed. And the course went by very, very quickly, except for those two moments where I really struggled to get the meanings that she suggested, or the keyword that she suggested, with how I understood the card up to this point. And so what she did was she immediately would talk about the card. Here we have the Fool. And let me zoom in a little bit. So here we have the Fool. And she would talk about things that she looked for in, let me get rid of this book. She really discussed what was in the card and the things she looked for in every card that were important for her. And so here she talked about the dog being on an edge of a cliff, the little satchel at the back, and how they show up. Now, she's using a pip deck here. That's why I have Pagan Otherworlds, and an animal deck. And that's why I have this one over here, Guardians of the Night Tarot. So she provided the first one to be Risk. And then she explains why she used Risk for this particular card. And as she's explaining it, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I never would have thought, nor I don't think I ever read or heard Risk as a word for this card. And then she discussed how it shows up in a pip deck and in an animal deck. And I was able to follow, even though we're not using the same cards, I was able to follow her and see them in my cards, which I thought was great. And then, she did the exact same thing with every single card, which, went by really quickly. I had no issues with the words that she was choosing until we got to the Emperor. Here in the Emperor, which is called the Lord in the Druidcraft Tarot, she wanted to use the word control. And she explained why, and she gave the definition from Webster's Dictionary. And it was making sense, but for some reason, I was very resistant to the word. My mind was telling me it wasn't a good fit for me. And again, she reiterated that if the word didn't work for you, please, choose a word that does, because they're my cards. And I need to work with something that's going to really connect with me. So I ended up coming with the word authority. So when I think of an emperor, or I think of a king, some kind of monarch, I just think of all the power that they have and the ability for them to govern over pretty much everything and anything. They're the ones that get to decide the laws. They're the ones that make judgments. They're the ones that rule their kingdoms. They're the ones that really do everything and anything. And they do it with authority. They do it with, the title that they have. And they, project it with how they speak and how they stand and sit. It's just a tone of voice. And so authority really covered all that for me. And it was just a better fit. And I know that I'm going to remember that much easier than I would have if I ended up using control. So we continued on, and things were going great until I got to the Chariot. I loved how she discussed the lovers. She really broadened my understanding of the lovers. It's not only, an intimate relationship with another person, but it's this idea of commitment. And then she really expands on what that can look like and how that could be brought up in a reading. So that was great. And then my other hiccup. The Chariot. She wanted to use drive. And I, again, understood why, because she explained it. But it wasn't a word that came easy for me when I think of this card. She talked about the motivating factors that drive us to accomplish goals, to drive us to move forward to where we want to go. And she gave several examples which, made it easy to follow, but it didn't set well with me. And as I understand this card with a little bit of reading and what she was explaining about this card, willpower came up for me. So again, I went to my resources, the books and guidebooks that I showed you. And willpower was in several of them. And I was like, you know what? It's going to be willpower. Because for me, willpower really is about this internal decision that you make and how you make things happen so that you can move forward and accomplish the goals that you have for yourself. Or how you make things happen even if there are barriers to, the places that you want to go to. And here with the chariot, that's what really for me she's doing with these horses. She is basically making them go in the direction that she wants to. She pulls reins to force them to go one way or another. And they follow whatever direction she says to do. And it is her decision that makes it happen. And so willpower just really, really worked for me. Then we continued on to strength, and then as well as, I like the word that she used here, fortitude. This was another word that I would never have thought of with this deck, and it fit really well for me. This internal strength. You know what? I got the Hermits out here. Let me pull these back out. And just the internal strength that you need to overcome, to accomplish, to really propel yourself in life. I thought fortitude was really, really a good word. So that will be a word that I suspect I will always have in my wheelhouse when this card pops up. Okay, the Hermit, really, introspection. In my mind, I see the Hermit meditating in a cave up in the mountains like a monk would. So that's a really easy association for me to make. And then change. This is interesting because generally I see them in a wheel. And here she's drawing a circle. I'm going to have to delve deeper into this card and read the guidebook to get a better understanding of what it means. But it's a really, really, really good lesson. And before I knew it, the lesson was over. She makes it so easy to stay focused. She keeps me engaged. Again, the quality of her video and audio are excellent, so I don't have any issues following along. She makes things interesting, and you can really tell that she has a mastery of these cards and tarot as a whole. She just eloquently just speaks to it like she knows these cards like the back of her hand. And it gives me confidence in her teaching me the cards. And so I'm looking forward to the next lesson. What I'm going to be doing is until my next lesson, I'm going to be going over these cards over and over again. In addition, I ended up doing the elements in my tarot journal. I just finished doing a study on the numerology. So I got to put that in my tarot deck, and I'll make a video for that for y'all so you can see how I did it. And I think what I'm going to do is I suspect, I haven't decided yet, but I suspect I'm going to do the same thing with the elements and numbers, is pick one key word for each one to help me get started on this journey in learning the tarot. Because it just makes sense, and I don't feel like I'm going to be overwhelmed with so much information if I just have a simple keyword. Okay, well, with that, I am going to wrap this up. Thank you for joining me. Again, my name is Benny. I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time, I'll see you later.